I recently had the honor of interviewing the great actor Stephen Lang. Lang has a background of having lead roles on stage and camera, such as Death of a Salesman, Avatar, and the upcoming Conan the Barbarian. It was my determination to find out what makes him tick as a person.
What's your academic background?
I have a Bachelor of Arts degree in English Literature from Swarthmore College, and I have uh, I have honorary doctorates in theater and film from the University of Jacksonville, and last year Swarthmore, my alma mater, gave me a doctorate in humane letters.
What was the moment that you knew you'd be using acting as a career?
The moment I thought I could be pretty good at this was in high school, actually, when I auditioned for a role in a play by Archibald MacLeish called J.B., which is about Job. It's the Job story. And I gave an inspired audition, just a possessed audition, and I got the lead. I got the title role in the play in high school. And that was the first time I had experienced kind of being, the possession that can kind of happen sometimes. And I really liked it. So I thought, I'm going to do this.
How did you start off your successful career?
I just started auditioning wherever I could, and at the time, I think I really wanted to be a classical actor, and so I was trying to do the classics wherever I possibly could, which actually was a good thing to do. I mean, the classics are fabulous, but they're also so demanding, and it's great training for an actor. But I spent a lot of years doing auditioning for, and sometimes I'd get a part, sometimes I wouldn't, for the classics. I worked in regional theaters, places from, the Guthrie in Minneapolis to Syracuse Stage to, my gosh, dozens of them actually. Pittsburgh Public, I did Streetcar there. So there were roles I wanted to play, certainly, plays I wanted to be in, and I did everything I could to be part of that. And by the time I'd been in it for 4 or 5 or 6 years, I developed a resume of roles. I knew what it was to be a professional actor because I'm not conservatory trained at all, And so I really had to learn what it was to be in the theater. And I did that in the regional theaters, which is a great training ground, but it's not only that. They're magnificent theaters in their own right. I mean, they don't exist to train actors so they can come to New York. As it happens, New York is my hometown. So, when I came to New York to act on the New York stage, I was prepared.
Did you know Avatar would be such a success?
No, I didn't. I mean, there was no way you could know. It was, we realized that Jim knew what he was doing, I think, to a certain extent. But, and we all felt, I certainly felt we were making something really unique, no question of that. But it could easily have been a grand failure, I think, if it hadn't been as absolutely specific and glorious as it turned out to be, I think. And there's still no real accounting, in a way, for the tremendous global success that it's had, other than the fact that it tapped into something kind of universal.
What did it feel like to walk the red carpet at the Oscars?
Oh, kind of lonely. It's bizarre. It was good to be there. It's a pleasure to be at the Oscars. I mean, I felt instinctively we were not going to receive the Oscar for Best Picture that year, but it's just an experience. The Oscars are a very unique experience. It's what's the word? I feel a little bit almost outside myself, sort of. Okay, so this is what it is. Oh, this is what the red carpet's like. All this press. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed seeing people whose work I've admired, people who I don't know, and I enjoyed seeing old friends there as well. And all in all, it was a fine show.
I know that your 4 children are grown up, but did they go around saying, my dad is cool for having Avatar and going to the Oscars?
Well, they all came out for the premiere of Avatar, which was far more fun than the Oscars, and that's, you bring up kind of a good point, because the doing Avatar, the success of Avatar, truly, I take more satisfaction in the happiness that it gave my children, my wife, my family, than it gave me, because they've been there. They've seen the highs and the lows. They know how difficult it can be. They've seen so many disappointments, because no matter how successful you are as an actor, there's always a lot of disappointment. And to be in this, they were just smiling ear to ear, and enjoyed every moment of the premiere.
According to my list, you have a number of things going on right now. Conan the Barbarian, Terra Nova, The White Irish Drinkers, Christina. Do you have any tips for students on how you handle all these things?
Well, you got to take it, take it one by one. Don't each of those projects when I was doing, that's what I was doing. When I was doing Conan, I wasn't thinking about White Irish Drinkers. When I was doing White Irish Drinkers, I wasn't thinking about the men who stared goats. I mean, I was just really focusing on that. These are all projects. The thing about movies is that they are, when you finish them, they're done. You can sit back and just hope for the best, hope that people respond to it. Now, Terra Nova is an ongoing thing, because that's a television series. And although we've done the first 2 hours of it, the road is really ahead on that series. That's where the work is to be done in the months to come. So my mind is really geared towards shaping that role and really dedicating myself to being who I want to be physically to do that part, and keeping myself kind of strong and healthy to do that part, because doing hour-long drama, television drama, is very, very taxing. It's really wearing work. Yeah, it's a lot like working. I didn't get into acting for that. It's working, in fact. Whereas White Irish Drinkers, tomorrow is the red carpet in New York. It's a premiere. Well, the film's done. There's nothing I can do but show up and have a drink and say, hope you like it. And so that's the fun part of it.
What does it feel like when people stop you on the street?
Oh, it's nice to communicate with people, because by and large they're doing so in a really, really positive way, And I'm a relatively affable person, I like to speak to people, and so I enjoy it, I think that I have observed, though, certainly with stars of huge magnitude, that it can be a problematic thing. I mean, just a lot of bodies in your face, but it doesn't really work that way with me. Usually, I get recognized like 3 times a day, 4, 5, 6 times a day, depending on how I look, and how current my project is. And it's generally quite amiable, and always delighted to say hello.
When was the moment when you knew you truly had made it?
I'm waiting for that moment still. The moment we sat down for this interview, the moment you and I sat down to do the interview here. Years ago, I'll tell you, the big leagues, I don't know. Back in '93, I did The Death of a Salesman with Dustin Hoffman. I mean, it doesn't get any bigger than that, really. I was like, that just was so thrilling to me, and to be on the Broadway stage in a really wonderful role with a play that everyone wanted to see. I mean, that felt just extraordinary to me. And then you learn that, and then that you've had that experience, and then that experience is history, and life returns to kind of the mundane monotony of looking for work and stuff. So I have a fairly not jaundiced attitude toward, but I hope a realistic attitude towards it. Yeah, right. I'm big stuff today, and then tomorrow I'm not.
If you had one piece of advice to pass on to all of our students wanting to act, what would it be?
Speaking specifically to actors, uh, I really advise you to read as much history as you can. I've learned. I came to history not late in life, but I didn't take any history in college, which I look back on now and I think, why didn't you do that? You love history, and I didn't at the time. But I've learned so much. It's been so helpful to me in my work as an actor because they always say that fiction is strange, but history is even stranger, and it's true. And you really want to understand when you play a role. Never, never, never. I think say my character would never do that. Our job is to figure out under what circumstances would a character do something. Because what I think is that under certain circumstances, anyone and everyone is capable of anything and everything. And that widens the possibilities for you. So never limit your thinking as an actor. Always try and do the what ifs. Keep searching. That's I don't know if that's advice. It's sort of a general idea.